Thank you for joining us. Today we've got Randy Carver from Limitless Wrestling based in Maine. Randy, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me here today, man. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. We've been a big fan of Limitless for quite a while now. I mean, you're one of the premier independents in the US. As a British fan, Limitless is one of those companies that you hear a lot of noise about. So what's it been like for you this year? Let's just get straight to it. What's it been like this year? Obviously, with the pandemic going on, have you been able to run any shows? Because was it February, the last show that you run?
It's been such a change in pace. We didn't really get to play out much of this year that we anticipated. We got through 2 events at the very start of the year for Limitless Wrestling, 3 of which for our sister promotion, Let's Wrestle. And mid-March, basically, every kind of in the U.S. It was kind of locked down, I think, by the 3rd week. And I think us, along with a lot of the independent promotions in the United States and a lot of places had to put their events on hold for quite some time, and still some have not returned. So we had anticipated this year for Limitless Wrestling alone to run 20 events this year, which was more than we had ever done before. So it certainly changed things for us where in reality, we're looking ahead to the Vacation Land Cup now. That's going to be like as a full show format. That's only our 3rd that will happen in 2020, and it'll be the last one. So certainly a dip from the 20 that we had.
Yeah, so you went from potentially running the most shows that you were going to run this year to running, I imagine, the least shows you've ever run.
Yeah, literally since the first year of Limitless Wrestling, where we started in September. So we started near the end of the year anyway. So definitely just been a change because, I think with a lot of independent promotions, you kind of try to build some steam in your local communities and try to get more shows rolling out to kind of really take things back to the ground level of everything in Limitless Wrestling was quite an experience to kind of hit you all at once.
Yeah. Like I said, you've still managed to keep some buzz about you, though. Obviously, you've got the upcoming show in December, Vacation Land. So that must be awesome, knowing that you've got a show this year, and it's going to be a big show. Are you nervous to get back into the swing of doing shows, or are you just excited to get back in and doing what Limitless does best?
I'm extremely excited. I think a lot of the nerves on show day for me are it's very fan based, making sure that people have a good experience because I really trust our crew. The wrestlers we bring in, they always bring 100% all the time. So I always just want to make sure the experience is good for people who are coming there. So kind of the nerves are in that aspect not really there. More so the nerves are about safety for everybody, making sure that we're following all local guidelines and precautions, and making sure that everybody leaves healthy and safe and with no injuries. So but overall, very excited because there's people on the show I literally have not seen since our last event in February. So I go from seeing some close friends and confidants on a month-to-month, sometimes week-to-week basis, to now being 7-8 months without seeing these guys. So that's really cool.
What can people expect from the Vacation Land Cup? Because I've been looking on your website, it looks like it's an absolutely stacked event. But what can people expect from it? And more importantly as well, where can we as British fans watch the Vacation Land Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think everybody can expect a little old and a little new in I really put this together as if this could be the last show that we run for a while, because just with the ever-changing numbers with COVID-19, there's really no certainty with anything that we can do right now. So I really wanted to go at this if this is obviously here, if it's our last event for a few months, like the last one was, I really wanted to make a statement and be one of the better independent cards put together, probably, and I think one of our best ones yet, just looking at it on paper. A lot of former faces from Limitless past, like an Ace Romero, Diego Casanova, and then there's a taste of the new flavor. I think one of the best technicians in North America, Lee Moriarty, making his way into this tournament as well, making you actually. So we've got 4 announced so far. We've got 4 to come, and anybody can watch independentwrestling.tv. It's going to be Saturday, December 19th. A 7 p.m. stream is what we're planning. And then this is also going to be available on DVD release thereafter on limitlesswrestling.com.
Well, that's good because we watch so many shows on indie wrestling TV, so we'll definitely be checking out the Vacation Land Cup because all we've got at the moment is the US independents to watch. There's no wrestling in the UK at the moment. We haven't had a show since February in the UK. So all we've got at the moment is American wrestling to watch. So, yeah, we'll definitely be checking that out. One thing I was saying to Jamie, who I do the show with, he couldn't make it tonight, but he's not too familiar with Limitless. But when I was going through the talent which has been in Limitless over the years, I mean, it's some incredible talent. You've had, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've had Donovan Dijak, MJF, Anthony Green, Ace Romero. You know, that's just to name a few. You've definitely had some of the bigger names in independent wrestling. Is that something you've always prided yourself on? You know, being able to get the best of the best talent for Limitless Wrestling.
Well, I think we've been very lucky to just work with some extremely talented and motivated people. We've kind of just built on that from day one. Ace Romero, you mentioned, he was really a building block for us because he is from right here in Maine, Saco. And so he was around early on. It was before he moved to the Midwest to train with Sammy Callahan. So he was on the come up and really kind of growing with us. He was kind of the flag bearer in year one, really leading the charge along with a few others like Anthony Green. And MJF came in down the line. He became a big player for us. He was the first ever wrestling champion. Took the belt actually to the United Kingdom with him, defended it at IPW. So that was a very cool experience for what was at that point a little company in Maine. It kind of helped solidify and I think get our name on the map a lot. And I've really tried to just, I mean, when I was a kid, I would try to lay out a lot of the independent wrestling like super cards that were around. Like at the time, it was when Ring of Honor would come to the Northeast or Beyond Wrestling was doing things at that point. And I really wanted to bring some of that style to the upper Northeast, to Maine, because there hadn't really been anything like that before. So, we're very lucky not only have New England at our disposal, but the entire Northeast, because there's been so many talented people who have, you mentioned, and luckily a lot of them have come through Limitless Wrestling.
Can I just say as well, the Limitless Championship is by far one of the most beautiful belts in independent wrestling. It's such a nice design. You must get that all the time. That looks like a world championship.
People love it, and it's actually it's a Ron Edwardson piece, red leather belts. He actually is the same gentleman who put together the TNT Championship for AEW. Right. He does fantastic work. It was him along with our graphics guy from the different times kind of piece this together from day one, and it was like a 6-month process to get to that. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. I think it's a beautiful championship, and I'm eager to crown a third champion.
Yeah, it's one of those belts where whoever wears it, it just suits them. Like I saw Anthony Green with it, and he just looks like a world champion, you know. And MJF with it looked like $1 billion. So it really looks like, you know, like WWE when they had the big gold belt that just looks good on anybody. That looks like it's, you know, it's the real deal. There's not that many amazing looking belts in indie wrestling, but that's one of them. So definitely be proud of that. But you mentioned that you was a fan of Ring of Honor, the early Ring of Honor. Is that something that you've based Limitless Wrestling around? Have you taken any inspiration from the wrestling you watched growing up?
course, yeah. I mean, any promoter and booker's like company kind of reflects what they were into as a young fan, or what they formed their with professional wrestling on. So I would say there's certainly aspects from everything from Ring of Honor to ECW, original ECW. I watch a ton of that still. I don't know. I watch a ton of Mid-South right now, and that's kind of what I've been implementing some features onto our weekly series, The Road, from, because I don't know. I think we're pretty well rounded, because I usually talk to the wrestlers to try to get some of their ideas flowing on directions that we're heading. But I would say, yeah, definitely. I watched a ton of Ring of Honor because that was some of the first independent wrestling I could find on TV. I was watching like HD era Ring of Honor, and I may dive further into older Ring of Honor DVDs that I could get my hands on at like local wrestling shows, or a local bull moose music, like a record. Yeah, I think a lot of that feeds over, because I think anyone kind of bleeds in the things that they were passionate about as a fan into what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always think the same thing. If I was a wrestling promoter, if I had some, I just know that it would be basically 2000. You know, that's all I'd take inspiration from. I'd just fantasy book that kind of stuff, because that's what I watched. It was the first independent wrestling I watched was 2003 Ring of Honor, I believe. And it was such a magical time, for an independent wrestling fan. And then eventually got into like PWG and stuff like that. But what's it like for you now to be one of those independent promotions? You're up there with the top of the independents, like Ring of Honor and PWG were back when you used to watch it. So that must be a pretty cool feeling.
It's honestly a dream, dude. Like, this is it's 100% kind of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be involved in wrestling at some point in time, but I remember like when I was a kid, I would literally book out my wrestling figures instead of really playing with them a ton. And people would be like, "What are you doing?" I'd have different rosters, and I really love that. I've always found interest in that, like the booking philosophy and putting together shows. And now, like, the whole experience with Limitless has been like just learning on the fly, because I went in with a lot of inexperience, and the first 3 years I would say was such a learning different ways to tighten things up and get to where we are today. Like, I'm very happy with where we're at today, even though obviously the year had been cut short. But like be mentioned in the same vein as some promotions like that is very cool, because it's just consistent work that our small crew and that the wrestlers put into this, and so many people have invested so much time into it. So to see that it's paying off, like even overseas, that's incredible to me.
You've definitely got fans in the UK. I mean, I know I'm lucky to be friends with a lot of wrestling fans. I know not everybody has that luxury where every one of their friends likes wrestling. All of my friends like wrestling, and a lot of them like independent wrestling. And a lot of us are big fans of American independents, and Limitless is one of those. So it's even over here in the UK, you've definitely established a presence. Like you said, MJF defended the Limitless Championship in IPW, and that's cool anyway, because I'm sure it's something like for it to be classed as a world championship, it has to be defended overseas. So technically, the Limitless Championship's a world championship, So yeah, you've definitely got a fan base overseas too. Is that something you want to do? Do you want to bring Limitless over to the UK or Europe in the future when this pandemic's hopefully, when things are back to normal?
I mean, I think that's swinging pretty big. We've actually only had one live event that was outside of Maine. Right now, we have Blitzkrieg Pro that we did in Enfield. But I mean, big goals down the line, that would be awesome if we got to a point where that was something that was reasonable and feasible we could do. I would like to maybe find some partner promotions that maybe we could do a feature match here and there. I've always thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah.
We're going to start something actually with Kaizen Pro Wrestling in Canada before all this happened, where I think by the end of the year we were going to have an event in Canada. Very interesting to kind of test the fan base out of the country and see what that could have done. But I mean, big goals, that would be awesome. I just when or how that would be attainable too soon.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess as a UK fan, I was just being a bit selfish, like, you come over here to us, but I guarantee when all this is sorted, I'm getting straight on a plane to America, because I was meant to be going to America this year, but obviously that got cancelled. So as soon as I can, I'm coming out to America. I'm going to hit up Chicago because there's a load of companies there I want to hit. But I've always wanted to go to Maine as well. So I guess there's more reason there. I can go see Limitless Wrestling. It's going to be expensive, but I don't care. I just want to see some wrestling. I haven't seen any wrestling for about a year now. So at least you guys, I mean, I know things aren't perfect worldwide, but one thing as a fan, it really has been a delight being able to watch the American Indies during this time, because I know we've got WWE and AEW, but there's something special about independent wrestling, and I'm sure you'll agree with that as a promoter. But like, even just seeing like the Collective and Black Label Pro, Synergy, they've been putting on some great events. Have you got good relationships with the companies in North America?
Yeah, I would say so. We've worked with a lot that are involved in the Northeast. We were actually helped a ton with by Beyond Wrestling very early on. We were able to work with them, kind of understand how to put weekends like this together, how to figure it out so that wrestlers can get a busier weekend, so that it kind of alleviates some of the financial stress on flying someone in for promotion. So it really helped a lot with us early on building relationships, and we built a ton from there. You mentioned Synergy. Colin West runs a very good show as we record this. So a very, very good promotion. And we've been able to work with a lot, even talk with a lot through Twitter. Twitter has been awesome, even through the pandemic, being able to connect with different promotions across the country. I love it. I love being in good standing with promotions who are doing it right in the right way. And you mentioned it's cool that there's still independent wrestling going on right now, because there certainly couldn't be. And it's just great to have the alternative different about independent wrestling. I was thinking that I watch independentwrestling.tv all the time, because there's so many different promotions on there. There's so much to watch. That's how, honestly, I can find a lot of wrestlers who I'm interested to book when all this is over. And I was watching an H2O show the other night on there, just thinking, man, it's so cool that maybe not flourishing, maybe not obviously nowhere near where it was, but there are still wrestlers who are kind of on the come up right now. There's still promotions who are creating buzz for themselves and having high quality shows and being streamed live. And it's awesome that not kind of go under, because I'm sure unfortunately some will, and some probably already have.
Yeah, that's so true. From the people we've spoken to over this pandemic, we must have done 100 interviews at least, and it's been like a split down the middle of people either saying this year has absolutely ruined their plans, or people saying they've really made the most of it and managed to come out a bit better, if that's even possible. Some people have really used this time to create an opportunity for themselves, and on the independents, I feel like some names really have used this opportunity to break out. Is there anyone that you've got your eye on that you've seen recently who you're thinking, I need to book that guy or girl? Who have you got your eye on? If you can say, obviously, I don't need to give your game plan away.
No, I can't. I have a few off the top of my head. Lee Moriarty, honestly, was top of that list. he's had just an incredible string of matches, even heading into the beginning of this year. He was someone who I wanted to use this summer as it was, and I'm very happy that before we are going to work with him. Big Beef Gnarls Garvin, you mentioned Black Label Pro. He's been on there a few times. He's just from the Midwest. I've had my on. I got a special match that I've been holding out on that I want him in. So we'll see. Maybe at the Cup, maybe we can pull that off.
Yeah.
There's a ton. I think who have. I was like, you'll see them down the road on season 2 as well. But like Andrew Palace is a guy who I actually talked to Anthony Green about a little while ago, and he was someone highly suggested. And then he came on season 2 of The Road, had 2 very good performances. There's a ton. I watched that H2O show. There was a dude named Dylan McKay who did like a running shooter off the scaffold, and was unbelievable. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm having fun watching wrestling right now. I'm having fun watching so much like different wrestling, different shows, different promotions all the time. And I have a list somewhere, like not in front of me right now, but I have a list of people who have like caught my eye that I really want to work with when things are normal.
I've got to ask, did you ever play TEW or EWR when you were like over the last few years? Because if you've not heard of it, it's like a promotion booking game where you can like fantasy book a promotion and matches. Yeah. Have you've played it before?
Oh yeah. A lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, man, absolutely. How accurate is that game to real life? I've got to know.
I think certainly some of the random like issues that can come up, and certainly like the money that you can lose is certainly real. So from a risk standpoint, there's certainly some similarities to me, but I mean, it's any time that you're dealing with I don't know, 20, 30, 40 people a show who are like technically working for you, and then hundreds of fans. That's a lot to kind of deal with in a real sense, and everybody's different. So some nights are going to be a breeze. It's going to be very difficult. So there is a lot of risk to it still.
Yeah, I had to ask because I played that game since I was about 17. And I used to think, obviously when you're younger, you think, oh, I can book WWE better than them. I'll do it right. And then I played that game and I thought I was a shit hot booker. I thought I was like the next coming of Paul Heyman. But in reality, I know it's much harder being a promoter and a booker. What's been the biggest challenge for you? What was like the biggest eye-opening moment when you realized like, wow, this is a lot different to what I thought it was going to be? Has there been anything that's really shocked you about being a promoter?
There's been a lot. There's just, I think in wrestling, there's just so many scenarios that you can't really prepare for until it's right in front of you. We had a Fans Bring the Weapons match within our first 2 years. And first time and last time we'd ever had light tubes in a match. And just that's I didn't expect there to be a light tube castle or cabin from a fan.
Jeez.
And they mayhem, and for people, it was like the most memorable night in Limitless wrestling. Like people still talk about it to this day. But for others, I know that we kind of run like a PG-13. Like there's swears on the show. Like it's to be, people expect it, but they don't necessarily expect flying glass and lots and lots of blood. We did warn them, but it got way out of hand. So that's an example of something that I just it's something you don't think right. You kind of have to go through. I mean, certainly I could have asked the right question ahead of that, but I learned a lot that day, and I think there's been this is small things in wrestling that you pick up along the way, especially when it comes to different venues you're using and different rules in different towns and permits you have to have. That's just like things you don't think about necessarily from the outside of just running a wrestling show. Sometimes just all the little odd jobs, all the little things that you have to make it go right. And it really it takes a team. That's why I'm happy. Like we have students now from the Limitless Dojo who are there every show to help out with things. They kind of make the proceedings run a little better. And it's certainly a difference from the 5 or 6 person crew that we had at the very beginning. It was pretty much myself, the main posse, Ace Romero, Alexander Lee, the referee Eric Greenleaf, our sound guy Ethan, and we had a few more stragglers, and it was just not a big crew from day one. So it's made quite a difference to have a crew now, and it's certainly if there is a problem that comes up, it can be fixed somewhat quickly.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it shows that you've grown as a company, not just what the fans see, but behind the scenes, you've grown as a company. And, in 5 years' time, you could be, obviously, you're going to be even bigger. Is there an end goal for Limitless? I know you said, like, right now, you're running out of Maine. Even coming to the UK would be, like, swinging too far, maybe. But is there, like, an end goal for Limitless? Do you want it to become a bigger promotion in North America, expand out in America, or is it just, do you want to just dominate Maine and be, what it is now?
I have to revert back to like what we started everything on, which was to make Maine wrestling better.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of us who were very fed up, and some wrestlers were being driven kind of out of even coming to Maine because of some shady promoters and business tactics, and not good crowds, not good paydays, bad rings. It was just a plethora of things, and just added up to people being very unhappy, kind of painting Maine with a broad brush and saying that probably all Maine wrestling was this way because that's all the experiences they had.
Yeah.
So, I really wanted to change the reputation of wrestling and bring good wrestling to Maine and kind of do what everybody said that we couldn't, draw crowds for the type of shows that we were putting on, because it was a challenge throughout the first couple of years, but we started running southern Maine, and that made a huge difference that we were around the Portland area instead of the Bangor area, just more people, and enticed more lower New England, lower Northeast fans to come, make the trip and come up and see the show. So I want to keep doing that at the end of the day, and I would like to expand out. I would like to take the show on the road, but consistent Maine shows are very important to me, that we would do them like we planned on once a month, which we were starting this year. So that's an end goal for me, and to keep working with some of the best talent in the Northeast and not putting them with some of the best talent from across the world. I think that's kind of what we've used our platform for a lot over the past few years, and that's really what I'd like to continue.
That's awesome to hear. I mean, so many people in your position might say, well, you don't want to be the number one promotion in the world or North America, but I think it's awesome that you want to make people proud to be from Maine, a Maine wrestler or wrestling in Maine. It sounds like you've already done a great job fixing the issues they had before in the wrestling scene there. So congratulations, that's awesome. But also, like, going forward, you just want to make Maine into the hotbed of wrestling. That's what everyone should be looking to do. And like, I'm lucky enough that where we're from, in Hull in England, we've got a pretty good wrestling scene when there's wrestling here. I think there's 4 promotions that run out of here, so we're quite lucky. But in America, I mean, it's really you only really hear of like Chicago and Orlando and, like New Jersey and stuff like that for wrestling. So it's good that you're putting Maine in that conversation for independent wrestling in America. So that's really cool. Before we start to wrap up, Randy, give us your one last pitch for the Vacation Land Cup. Let us know what we're in for, and again where we can find it, because we'll definitely be watching. But yeah, just let us know. Obviously, it's the first. Is this the first time that you've run the Vacation Land Cup?
No, so this is our 3rd one.
Right.
We had the inaugural in 2018, second in 2019. JT Dunn was the first winner. Anthony Green won it last year. You can actually see both of the shows on independentwrestling.tv in our archive.
Awesome. I'll check that out, definitely. Yeah, I think I need to make more time to go back and watch some independent wrestling when I've got time. I think I'll start with the previous two and try and watch them before the one coming up in December. So yeah, Randy, just let us know what we can expect from Vacation Land, and of course, if you've got merchandise, social media, where to buy tickets, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Vacation Land Cup to crown a new Limitless Wrestling World Champion, the third ever champion, going down Saturday, December 19th on Independent Wrestling.tv. If you don't have an account yet, you can use the promo code Limitless, get yourself 5 free days, and you'll be able to watch the Cup for free. Our entire series called The Road, it's a new mini series that come out amidst the pandemic. All those episodes in full are available, plus I think almost every Limitless Wrestling show from our history, minus maybe 3 or 4 in full on there as well. In total, over 45 events. You mentioned merchandise. We've actually got a sale going on right now. It's going to last throughout the week. LimitlessWrestling.com. There's DVDs, hats, T-shirts, zip-ups, trading cards, stickers, really anything that you're looking for. A lot of stocking stuffer material. So we do ship international as well. So we can send these anywhere. So whatever you're looking for, LimitlessWrestling.com. We're on Facebook. Facebook.com wrestling. We have new uploads just about every day on YouTube.com/Limitless Wrestling. We're approaching 800,000 subscribers on there. So if you haven't yet, we're on Twitter at LW Main as well. And check in for the Vacation Land Cup. We've got an announcement coming, I think, every day throughout this weekend. Thus far, Garcia, Christian Casanova, Ace Romero, and Lee Moriarty, as well as the Sea Stars, Ashley Vox, and Delmy XO, and announced last night. So, it's going to December 19th on IWTV.
Awesome. Well, apart from checking out that show, I think I'm going to check out those trading cards, because wrestling trading cards have always been one of my favorite things to collect. So I'll definitely be checking out those trading cards. But Randy, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while to find out a bit more about Limitless and what you've got coming up post-pandemic. It'd be great to get you back on again in the future and find out, like, you know, do a review of the Vacation Land Cup, for example. So yeah, that would be absolutely awesome. But yeah, Randy, thank you for joining us. We've been Ringsiders, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.